Thank you for joining us for tonight's Capstone Conversations. I'm Dr. Andrea France, and I'm your host for this evening. I'm very excited to get started taking a look at some of the quick teasers of some of our students' year-long projects that we're going to be celebrating in their entirety later this week. In Anderson Auditorium on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, our students are actually going to be unveiling all of their hard work. Tonight, we're going to learn a little bit about their development, a little bit behind the scenes, and we're going to get a sense for actually what they're going to be showing us in their entirety. So, after the commercial break, stick with us. We're going to be welcoming our first guest. Our first guest tonight is Joshua Tigges. We'll be back soon.
Stop by and pick up your choice of BVU gear and apparel at the Lanus Campus Spirit Store.
Hey, can you guys help me out?
Who, us?
Yeah, just get this car out of the traffic so I can work on it.
Sure, why not?
Doing great, guys.
See, that wasn't so bad, but where are we?
Nobody told me when to stop.
Welcome back. It's great to have you all with us, and I'm excited to be sitting here with the first of our digital media seniors tonight, Joshua Tigges. Joshua, thank you so much for being here.
I am so excited.
We're excited to talk tonight about Turn 4. So I know a lot about Turn 4, but I know our audience doesn't. I wonder if you could get us started just talking a little bit about what is Turn 4?
Yeah, well, first off, I'm just so excited that it's finally Capstone Week, because this whole process, it has been 20 months leading up to this week. So I have put blood, sweat, and tears into this project. But Turn 4, in essence, is a docuseries following the season journey of Jim Johnson and his family throughout their entire racing season. So this started all in the fall of 2022. And that's when I first kind of got the idea, first kind of started working on it. And last summer is where kind of the whole production let loose, where I went and I chased the story. I literally followed them for almost every single race they went to last season and stuff. And I can't thank them enough, because they quite literally welcomed a stranger into their life and made me part of their family last summer. So it's made chasing this story just so much worth it. So it's made it worth it so much, just because of the story that played out and because of the people that they are.
So tell me a little bit about why this story? How did you settle on this story?
Yeah, so kind of my approach or my philosophy to storytelling is to be a story listener. I think if anyone's kind of heard me talk over the past year and a half, you're probably tired of hearing me say that.
Nope, never.
But it's really something I've just really identified with. And when it has come to like making these projects, that's really what I default to, is I take a step back to listen and observe the world around me to kind of see what stories are out there. What are people talking about? What are people caring about? And that's the approach that I took into kind of identifying this story. So in 2022, I did an internship up in Bismarck, North Dakota that summer. And with that, I had the pleasure of working alongside one of our alumni, Clayton Van Horn, who in that time was in the process of completing his docuseries that he did for his capstone. Mm-hmm. So it was really through that I just got super motivated to chase a project like that, because I saw how much passion he had for it and how much it really propelled him into his career. So I was like, I want to do something like that. So I got back on campus. Literally the day I got on campus, I rushed over to Jerry's office. I was like, hey, I have this idea. And he was like, all right, let's calm down a second, but let's see if we can make this happen. And coincidentally, one of my first nights on campus again was a season championship at Buena Vista Raceway, down in Alta, just down the road. So I went there, I went to that race, and I took the story listening approach. I went back, I listened, I just observed. I was like, I kind of have this idea for this project, and I want to see if I can identify a family, because that's the approach that I wanted to take to this, was to follow a family's journey. And through that, I noticed this one rowdy bunch of fans up in the crowd and stuff, especially when it ultimately ended up being Wyatt crossed the finish line, won a race and stuff. And then from there, I kind of got talking around a little bit, seeing kind of, is this family kind of like a good story to follow? I got in contact with Jim then. I went up to his place one evening, and we had an hour-and-a-half conversation that felt like 15 minutes, just talking about racing and stuff. And immediately I knew right away, this is the story that I'm going to be chasing this summer.
Fantastic. Oh, my goodness. So for our audience, not everybody knows, but a documentary takes just a huge investment of time. And you've talked a little bit about all summer long, really following this. Can you talk a little bit about your production process? What's involved with putting together a docuseries?
Yeah, I was kind of naive to that fact on how much time this actually was going to take. But quite literally every single week this past summer, from basically May until September, I was out at the racetrack filming races and stuff. And basically, in essence, a typical race night, I would start prepping gear here in Loggy about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would head out to the track, get to the track around 4 o'clock to set up, make sure everything's set up by 5 o'clock for when people start arriving and stuff. Film the races from about 5 o'clock until roughly 11 o'clock, midnight at night, just filming with a camera on my shoulder. And I have to give a huge shout out to Joel Sikora and Abby Kraft as well, because they were instrumental in helping me pull this off, because I had 8 cameras rolling at once out there between the work of GoPros and other stuff. So once I wrapped up at the track and stuff, made my way back to Loggy here, and cleaned all the gear, because that's one thing I didn't think about either at a dirt track and stuff, how much dirt is actually kicked up in the air. The gear got quite dirty. So cleaning all of that up, and then here in Loggy again, in Avid, in the editing bay, backing up all my footage. That took about an hour and a half. So really I left the building here in Loggy typically around 2, 3 in the morning on race nights and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
So that was just the actual filming portion of this, how a typical race night would be.
And once you get into the editing portion, putting the story together, can you talk just a little bit about the hours and really some of the challenges, the highs and the lows even, of putting this all together?
Absolutely. Editing was a whole nother beast. I just wasn't prepared for it. And if I have to be honest, that is really, starting off the editing process was the lowest point of this process for me, because it was so intimidating. I had 2 terabytes worth of footage, about 6 hours alone just of interview content, to kind of dig through and kind of figure out, where is this story? Because I know where it starts and I know where it ends, but how am I going to kind of connect that? But figuring out that process of going through all my footage, finding what I had to work with. Once I got through everything, I kind of put everything together, and all of the usable content for this first episode was at about 5 hours. And I've whittled it down to 40 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite the process. But reverse engineering that storyline was so daunting, and I spent so much time trying to make sure that this first episode is perfect to lay the foundation for the rest of the series, and I could not be more proud of how it turned out. But it has been late nights. The start of this month, the start of August, is really when I got down to like the nitty-gritty, the really intense editing portion. And once I got through one portion, I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's where it kickstarted everything, where I think the first 2 weeks in August, I averaged maybe 4.5 hours of sleep each night, just because I was up till 2, 3 in the morning editing. But it's like I just got in this mood where I wasn't tired. I was just driven by this passion to tell this story, and I just wanted to keep telling it, keep making progress, and here we are. It's all worth it.
And here we are. And ultimately, here we are indeed. What are you most proud of at this point?
Yeah, I think the growth that I've seen in myself over this entire process on so many different levels. To be honest, I don't even know where to begin on talking about where I've grown, how much I've grown in different areas. But I think at the foundation of it all is the growth of being a storyteller. Because the standard that I set for myself for this wasn't just some college project I wanted to go and accomplish. This was something going into it. I wanted to be the bridge to my professional career. I wanted this to launch me out, get eyes to notice me and stuff. And already I've started to see evidence of that. So I held myself to not a college standard. I bumped it up another notch to this professional standard. It's like, is this something people would be willing to pay to watch on a streaming platform? And that's the standard that I held myself to, and I could not be more proud of how this first episode turned out because I believe I have achieved that mark.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's time. We need to share this teaser out with our audience. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready.
So, okay, Joshua, what I want you to do is I want you to the audience to introduce the teaser for turn 4, if you would.
Yes, so this teaser right here is 1 minute and 5 seconds, encapsulating the entire story of the season that played out last summer. Now, this first episode for my capstone doesn't cover everything that happens here, but this is the overview perspective to give you a glimpse at what turn 4 is.
Let's watch it.
Iowa per capita is the largest number of dirt tracks in the nation. It is a home of grassroots dirt track racing.
His love for racing is unreal. He wants to keep pushing and keep getting better every single night.
I mean, it's an addiction.
The only way you can beat me is by wrecking me.
There's never a chance to win until you've won.
He has one coming.
I just want to make him happy.
Handing that torch down, it happens in life.
He proved himself this year.
He's starting to become one of the greatest racers in the nation.
Right here, buddy. I know what I got under the hood. I know what I got for help. I know I can drive the car. We're a top 4 car here tonight.
Bravo. How exciting. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have to just say that audiences who are watching this tonight, man, if that doesn't entice them to want to come and watch the whole first episode, I'll be amazed. So great job. That just looks fantastic, Joshua.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I'm just so proud of this because I do have to say, like, throughout my entire collegiate journey, I've been blessed to have success in a lot of different areas and produce some really great stuff. But I do have to say, this is easily the best thing I have ever produced.
Which is what a capstone is supposed to be, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly what a capstone is supposed to do.
That's what makes me so excited because I know I put my heart and soul into this and kind of use the talents that God has gifted me with to tell this story. And I believe I have done so accurately, fairly, and effectively to tell a very compelling story. So I hope people really enjoy it.
And so, quickly, how many episodes is this docuseries going to be?
Yeah, so this will be a 6-episode series. And I kind of have the vision in mind of how each episode is going to play out through the story that played out this summer. So work on episode 2 will begin here after we kind of celebrate what this week is.
It's an ongoing process.
It sure is.
What are you most looking forward to on Thursday night when you fully release this first episode?
I am so much looking forward to almost getting this pressure off my shoulders, right? It's starting to be released right now, but really sharing it with everyone, getting their reactions and stuff. I've been getting some messages from people after I've launched my social pages to really push people to come out to Anderson on Thursday, and I've been getting some messages that I think a decent-sized crew is going to be showing up.
Wouldn't it be great if we filled Anderson?
That is my dream. That's my dream.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Well, we are going to go to a quick commercial. Joshua, congratulations, and I'm so looking forward to sharing all of this with everybody on Thursday night too. We're thrilled for you. We're going to go to a quick commercial now, and we're going to welcome our next guest, and do stick around with us. We've got our next guest is Joshua Woolcott, totally different kind of project, so we're excited to share that with you. We'll see you after the commercial. Good job.
Cone from downtown. Bang! She's got it. What a shot from the parking lot. Oh my goodness.
Madison tracks down the ball for the Beavers.
What a great catch, able to track it down. Absolute ball hawk.
Rocking with the serve, and that's an ace.
Nice attack there, really put it right on target.
Can't complain. You love seeing the competition like this from the Beavers.
You're always... Line.
Cut.
Just trust me on this one, okay?
I hope you know what you're doing.
You always made me Digi proud.
It was pretty good.
Here's Jerry!
Ah! Where's the SD card? Where is it?
Can't make me tell.
And fade to black.
Good show, guys.
Guys, I forgot to hit record.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us with Capstone Conversations. I'm Andrea France, and I'm excited to welcome our next guest to the stage tonight, Joshua Woolcott. Joshua, thanks for being here. I'm excited to talk a little bit about your project.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. You know, I can get a little long-winded when I'm talking about mine.
You? Never. I can't imagine. No. Okay, so I'm not sure that everyone in the audience actually will know this, but your capstone, you actually are building on something that you started over 2 years ago.
Correct.
Am I right? Yeah. So could you please talk to the audience a little bit about your vision for this project and take us into the world of Z.E.O?
Yeah, so I came up with the project technically back in high school, but I was really inspired to start the project my sophomore year here. I was in your advanced audio class, and I had written a script for what eventually became the prologue of the series. And I pitched it to you in advanced audio for our final project and said, hey, what if I made an episode of this just to see if I can do it? And you said, yeah, go for it. And as I was making the episode, I realized that I really enjoyed it. And I told you when I turned it in that I was interested in maybe making it a bigger project in the future. And so in your feedback to me, I did pass the assignment, by the way.
I think it was a pretty good grade.
Yeah, I think so.
Exactly. Yes.
In your feedback, you had said that you would encourage me to make more. So what I ended up doing is after watching Blake McMillan's Capstone Project cassette tapes from August, I was like, you know what? Maybe I will do an audio drama series for my capstone. And then my sophomore year, right before the end of the school year, I started writing the script of season 1 because this capstone project is season 2. And so junior year, when I got back after writing the script, I produced and edited and released season 1. And season 2, I did a lot of the same things, but with more episodes that are longer, and I gave myself a lot more time to do everything. So I'm kind of building off what I learned from doing season 1 and am now doing season 2.
Fantastic. So again, for our audience, I wonder if you could talk just a little bit about what an audio drama podcast actually sort of entails. So how many episodes are we talking about? How many characters are we talking about? What's involved with all that? Why an audio drama?
Yeah, so I wanted to do an audio drama because I have always wanted to tell some kind of post-apocalyptic story, but I don't have the budget to do one on video. And so I knew that I wanted to tell that story. And so that's why I picked an audio drama, because I can use a soundscape to kind of show you and hear what I envision if I were to do this with video. And so for season 2, I have 11 main episodes and an epilogue for the 12th episode. Season 1 was, I believe, 8 episodes. And so, yeah, I really wanted to try to get people into that headspace where, you know, they're driving home from work, they turn on Z.E.O, and suddenly they're in a post-apocalyptic kind of wasteland that is being reclaimed by society. And some of the implications of what happens after you rebuild humanity after it nearly goes extinct.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, much of it takes place in Missouri, which I have sometimes sort of felt like, oh gosh, I could totally see this, right? Yeah. Okay, so as someone who put together this podcast, you had to don a lot of hats.
Yes.
Right? Yes. There's a lot that goes in, because this is original. It's not like you're working from somebody else's script. Talk to your audience a little bit tonight about all the different sorts of roles that you ended up playing with the development of this project, and you know where you had to grow.
Yeah, so I was technically all my roles, I was the writer, director, producer, and lead voice actor for both seasons of the series. So I had my hands full. And I really had to grow in all 4 of those aspects. Looking back on the prologue episode, what I made sophomore year, and looking back to now, just thinking about my abilities in audition for post-production, I feel like my soundscapes are clearer, the editing pacing is better, and all of that is getting better. For writing, season 2, I think the plot makes more sense than season 1, because I'm endlessly critical of my own work. But I think season 1 has some plot points that don't really make sense. And so in season 2, you helped me with this. I actually plotted out every episode that happens, and then I sat down with you and I talked through, well, episode 1, this happens, then this happens, and I go all the way through the episode. And then when I finished it, you would say, how are we supposed to know this? And I'm like, that's a really good point. I never elaborated on that. So I had to grow as a writer, as a director. Working with volunteer voice actors, you have to find a really good way to describe how you want a line delivered. And so sometimes that came across as, I want you to say it again, but turn up your anger by 5%. Or I would say it again, but sound more melancholy as if this has just happened to you. And then overall as a producer, just organizing everything, I had a lot of stuff that I was working with, a lot of scripts, a lot of actors, a lot of schedules, which was a nightmare. And just growing in all of those areas in order to make the project.
And how many actors did you have?
Let's see, main actors, I think I had 9, and then in extras, I think I had another 4 or 5 or something.
It's a lot of schedules to juggle.
Yeah, it's the hardest part of the project, I think, was scheduling.
So how did you grow as a director?
So in season 1, I kind of sat back a lot more and said, I'm just going to let you I'm going to let you deliver the line how I think you want it to be delivered and how you think the character would do it. But as time went on, and when I was doing season 2, I was like, they don't have too much to go off of, so I should probably be pickier. And so I know for season 2, and some of my fellow voice actors who are involved in this very production can probably attest, I was a lot pickier in season 2. There was a lot more instances of me going, say that again, do it again, do it again. One more time? Okay, I lied, one more time.
It's hard to do, coach your friends.
Yeah,
right?
It's weird.
I mean,
one of the areas that I had to grow when I was talking about post-production, I started to learn about something called the spectrograph frequency, which is something that Audition shows you, and I've told you about that a little bit. And to explain it a little bit, there's the main waveforms that Audition will show you, but below it you can turn on a spectrograph frequency, which is a way to kind of visualize your audio, and you can see the pitch, and you can, if you learn how to read it, you can read someone's cadence and their inflection and kind of how they talk and where the S's are because it lights up a certain part of the frequency. And so there were some instances where I would pull up that spectrograph and I would say, if you follow your inflection line here, you're ending this sentence up higher. I want you to follow this inflection, but then drop here. I remember I had one instance where one of my voice actors, Spencer, as he was recording the line, he was tracing it with his finger, and then when he hit that part of the line, he dropped his hand to remember to drop the pitch. And so, yeah, that was one of the directing things that I kind of had to pick up over time.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. All right, talk to our audience a little bit about highs and lows of the development process here, the production process. Moments that you felt like you'd really nailed it, moments that you were frustrated and you'd like to do again.
Yeah, so I think writing was one of my favorite parts. I mainly consider myself, I think, a creative writer more than just about anything else at this point. And so writing the actual series was definitely a high point because it's so nice to have this whole world that you can do whatever you want with, and you have the final say on what happens. And there were moments where I was writing certain moments that happened and I laughed, and there were moments where I was just like, wow, this is so sad. And so I think writing and kind of writing the high of making a script, at least it's a bit of a high for me, was one of the highs. But then some of the lows was mainly due to the monotony of it, was kind of just cutting it together. Because I have an end goal of what I want, but I have to get there. And over spring break is when I did a lot of my editing, where I edited for about 8 hours a day, every single day over spring break in order to get the episodes 90% completed or so. And so I think while it was still enjoyable and important, it was one of the lower moments, was having to cut everything together. And there were some moments where I just realized, because as much as I am eternally grateful for all my voice actors, they all did a wonderful job, there were still some moments where I had to accept the fact of, I'm not going to get them to deliver this line the way that I want, so this scene is not going to pan out the way I thought it would. And so it would kind of bum me out, but it would also come with the fun challenge of being like, how can I fix this? Like, how do I change the scene and work around it? And I've, in some of our meetings I've shown you, I've been like, well, this scene originally wasn't supposed to go that way, but because of this delivery, I kind of changed the course of the whole scene. And so, yeah, those are some of the highs and lows.
Fantastic. Well, I think we're about ready. We need to actually share the teaser. Well, how do you think you want to introduce the audience to this teaser? What are we going to listen to, and what are we going to see?
Yeah, so the teaser that I created overall it begins with a recap of season 1, and then it goes into a teaser of season 2. Just as a little bit of a disclaimer, there are 2 naughty words in it. This series is an explicit series. I have that tag on Spotify for when you go listen to it. But we start off with a tape recording from Kyler, actually, and he kind of catches us up on what happened in season 1. So for anyone who's just jumping into season 2, they can get a bit of a grasp on what's going on. And other than that, if you're new, I would love to welcome you to the world of Z.E.O.
So, I don't really know why I'm doing this. I mean, I guess you could say that because everything is dangerous right now, maybe recording something like this could help? I don't know. I mean, when has recording stuff ever really helped people? I found this super shitty tape recorder when I was out on a run the other day. It was out in the unclaimed, which is just a fancy word for parts of the world that we haven't resettled yet. My name is Kyler, and I am a Z extermination officer, which means my job is to deal with the undead and protect the lives of others. Like, if you imagine a police officer that only dealt with reanimated corpses, that's me. Chances are, you might have heard of me, given some events from recent history. Yes, I was one of the people who helped stop a domestic terrorist organization known as the Speakers. The Speakers' main goal was to reduce civilization back to what it was when the world ended years ago, back in 2050. They thought that the rebuilding of civilization could only end poorly. A bunch of nut jobs. They would use the dead, or rotters, as I like to call them, and herd them into cities, killing all life inside. I was not alone, however. I had 2 of my best friends with me. Ed, who graduated basic with me, and Steph, who we met along the way. The 3 of us together were able to track down the head of the organization, and over the course of a few months, maybe a year, I don't know, we were able to stop them. A lot of people died during this time. It turns out this organization ran deeper than we thought, and it seemed to creep into every part of our lives. What I've learned since then, however, is things did not end there. Not by a long shot. This is bigger than I could have ever imagined. Basically, there's a truth out there, right now, that needs to be known. But it isn't. Something dark. Sinister, even. But I figured I should give you a rundown of who I am and what my life has been like, because who knows if I'll even be alive when you hear this.
We are not crossing that line. You're ruthless, aren't you, kid? You fit right in with these guys.
What gives you the right? Why are you so high and mighty?
I'll kill you, you son of a bitch!
I will kill you so slowly that burning you alive will seem humane.
I think we crossed those lines a long time ago. I'm running a little late for lunch today. Sorry. Just hang tight. I'll be there soon, and then we can go meet Kyler, alright? In fact, to make up for it, lunch is on me. See you in a bit. Bye.
Season 2 of Z.E.O. coming this May.
Joshua, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And I'm really excited as someone who's been sort of on the sidelines through this whole process from the very beginning, watching this evolve. I am personally quite excited to see how things go when we release this officially on Wednesday. It's a big, big deal. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what's next with this podcast. What can we expect? How's this going to actually sort of be shared?
Yeah, so I'm premiering the first episode at Capstone Presentations this Wednesday. And then I think that Friday, so this upcoming Friday, I will release the teaser that we just watched publicly out on the platforms that Z.E.O will go out on. And then the following Friday, so the day before graduation, is when I will release the first episode publicly. And then after that, each episode will come out weekly. And I think, if I remember the day correctly, the last episode and the epilogue will release on July 12th this summer.
Wonderful. Well, this has been quite a journey. And Wednesday night, when we officially share it with the audience in Anderson Auditorium, I think you're going to get so much amazing feedback because it's a truly great project.
Thank you. I'm
congratulations, excited. Joshua.
Thank you.
We are going to cut to commercial and wrap this fabulous Capstone Conversations evening up with our third interview. This is Isaac Stone is going to be joining us with a very different project. So be back after the commercial. Good job.
Okay, Jaden.
How's it going, Steven?
Oh, it's going pretty good.
I'm just really hungry and really want to get to Lawas for lunch. But between all these recaps and other paperwork I have to do, I just don't know if I'm going to have time for it.
You usually get a steak burrito with everything, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Good evening, and welcome to the first annual Digi Games presented by Storyteller Central. Competition is about underway, so let's throw it down to Carter in the weight room.
Thank you, Isaac. The atmosphere here is electric as the competitors are going head-to-head to find the superior Digi organization. Back to you.
I can just feel the energy from here, Carter. Let's take a look at what's about to go down. BVTV kicks it off with the stability test, a true endurance battle working those calves to the limit. KBVU takes on a new challenge in the vocal pull-ups, a true test of vocal strength. Rounding out the bunch, the TAC takes on a true forearm test building strength for all night rides.
And the action is underway. Make sure to tune in next time to see who comes out on top. Back to you, Isaac.
Now that makes me Digi proud.
It's more than just a lake.
What separates us from the rest
is what makes us special.
We thank you for the memories.
And we look forward to making many more.
Happy birthday, Storm Lake.
Welcome back to Capstone Conversations. I'm excited to be sitting here with the one and only Isaac Stone, who someday I think is going to be a huge name. And we're getting that started this week when he releases his first short film. Isaac, thanks for joining us. I'm just going to throw it to you and say, okay, we need to tell the audience a little bit about Out of Their Minds.
Well, Out of Their Minds is a short film that I wrote, directed, and produced. It's about two guys that originally worked for rival companies. Then the one guy quits that place and then joins the rival company. And then there's this other guy, obviously. And they both hate each other at first. They're very similar in what they do in their careers in the marketing sales business. And it stirs up some tension. But then this big project comes up, and then they get paired up together, and they're forced to become friends in that moment. And yeah, I'm very excited.
So this is a comedy, right?
It's supposed to be a comedy.
This is a comedy, and I am just in so much awe because, I mean, comedy kind of eludes me. I'm not very funny, which is why I like you. I mean, you were great to have in the room with me because I'm not funny at all. But what drew you to doing a comedy, Isaac? What drew you to this particular genre?
Well, I've always enjoyed watching funny movies. I mean, my dad, growing up, would always show me funny stuff, whether that be SpongeBob as a kid, or growing up, when I got older, he used to show me some Will Ferrell movies from back in the day. I love Will Ferrell. And then, you know, in the past couple of years, seeing other people's capstones, you know, it's very serious, which I don't have a problem with serious projects or anything like that. It's just, you know, I wanted to like take on a project that I can look back and be like, hey, that was a lot of fun to make. And we all had a great time making it. And that, I think that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely. And I think that we go with our strengths, right? Mm-hmm. You're attracted to comedy because this is what you consume. Do you have a favorite comedy movie?
Superbad. Superbad,
really?
With Jonah Hill and Michael Cera. Yeah. It's actually been said that that's the funniest movie of all time.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why is it the funniest movie of all time?
You gotta see it.
I gotta watch it.
You just
Okay,
gotta see it.
I gotta watch it. All kinds of different sorts of humor.
Yes.
Yes. So, all right, cool. So this sort of, it begins as you've got some tension, it turns into a bromance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I would say
that's
so.
not your word?
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay, all right. And so audiences, let's talk a little bit about the nature of a short film. So how long is a short film?
Well, I know, I see what you're doing.
Yes, you do, don't you?
Well, a short film typically is, well, it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. 20's kind of pushing it.
What about 27?
I'm really pushing the boundaries with this one. I got 26 minutes right now. We're still trying to cut stuff up. So,
and it's painful to cut, right?
It is, yeah. There's so much good stuff in there that I would hate to cut it out, but I'm really working to make it a reasonable time and still be able to effectively tell the story.
Yeah, I mean, I totally hear you. It is a little bit like being forced to choose your favorite child and then abandoning the other one, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. I totally get it. So, okay. A little bit like my last conversation with Joshua Woolcott. There's a lot involved with every single different role that you had to play for this capstone. I mean, it's not just about slapping together some video that you go out and shoot. Talk to our audience about the different hats you had to wear through this process.
Well, it all started with writing the script. I had taken a script writing class with Jerry a couple years ago, which I think that helped me a great deal when it came to writing the script for Out of Their Minds. And then after that, I had to recruit. I had to recruit my cast, which I got to give it to them. It wasn't hard at all because anybody that I asked, they all said yes in a heartbeat.
It's because you're a nice guy, Isaac.
Thank you so much.
People will do stuff for you.
But I mean, I really do appreciate them for being there for me. And then after that comes planning the shoot days. And that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, is planning like every scene. Okay, what needs to get done first? Where are we going to go first to shoot? So obviously,
and even like choosing your areas,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Choosing where you're going to put a specific scene, what you have to have in that scene,
like props and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then after that came the shoot days, and I really gotta give a big shout out to Carter Sawyer. He's here. He was my production assistant all throughout the process of shooting, and he kept me in check, and he kept me from losing my mind, no pun intended. But yeah, he was there for me whenever I needed him. Whenever I said, "Hey, are you free this day?" he made time for it, and I really got to give my props to him. And then after that, shoot days, obviously, yes, I mentioned. They were so much fun. Shoot days, like working with everybody was just, I really had to take every day in because I didn't want it to end. But when you're having fun, time goes by fast, and it really did go by fast.
Excellent. One big highlight from your production process. Tell one story real quick.
Okay. You know what story I'm going to tell. It's there was one day we were shooting at Ethan's house. He's one of the stars of the film. He plays Nelson in the film. There was one day we were shooting at his now old apartment. He doesn't live in that apartment anymore. One day on a Friday night, I'm there. It's me, Ethan Reed, Carter was there, Joel Sikora was there. We're shooting. We're having a good time in between shots, being loud and obnoxious like we usually are, you know. And as you know, you live in an apartment, you have neighbors. So all of a sudden, after we finish a scene, we hear a door open. Ethan's door opens. And next thing we hear is, Storm Lake Police Department. Somebody called the cops on us. And I actually got a video of that I will show on my presentation day on Wednesday. But yeah, Ethan literally, he rushed over to the stairs and was like, hey, what's going on? And cop goes, we got a call from the neighbors about being loud. And then Ethan tells the cop, I'm working on a short film. So SLPD now knows about Out of Their Minds. So
that's a fantastic
Even they're
story.
excited
You
about
set
it,
a new bar. You set a new bar. Excellent. I think it's time that we do our sneak peek of
Let's do it.
Out of Their Minds. Quickly introduce.
This will be a sneak peek of one of the scenes in Nelson's office where Adam, Reed's character, is showing up there for an interview. So here's a sneak peek of Out of Their Minds.
Hi, I'm Adam. Hello? It's Adam Winchell? Your last name is Winchell. Ah! There is no yelling in my office. I have that reserved for 3:30. Don't look at that. And besides, did you get your clothes from the Baby Gap? Hey now, you do know this is an interview, right? Not a funeral? Okay. It's Adam Winchell. Say it 3 times, please. You getting smart with me? If the shoe fits. God, sit down. Like his twin. What? Nothing.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see this whole film. I think it's going to be great. Okay, very quickly, one piece of advice you would give to Digies down the line. Digies down the line, preparing for your capstone. What would you say to them?
I would say if you have a passion, whatever you want to do in Digi, pursue that passion. Absolutely. With everything you got. And any project you take on, go to the limit for it. Work hard. Work endlessly for it to make it the project that you want it to be, and as best as it can be. Because, I mean, that's what I strive by, is working hard. If you want to pursue something, you got to work hard to achieve it. And that's kind of what this project really showed in me, is that I am willing to work hard on whatever comes my way.
That is great advice. Thanks, Isaac. We're going to wrap things up tonight. Thank you all for joining us. And if you've been enticed to view or listen to any of these projects, feel free to join us on Wednesday and Thursday night in Anderson Auditorium from 7 to 9 p.m. It's open to the public, and I know that we'd love to have an audience. Again, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you later this week.